All right, the next thing I want to show you on Google Classroom is how to get into Classwork. So along the top bar, we've already talked about Stream. We're going to move on to Classwork. So in Classwork, you have the option to put in assignments for your students, things that can be graded as opposed to the announcements tab on the prior page. So for Classwork, you have a couple of different options: an assignment, a quiz assignment, a question, just generally posting material, or reusing something old. So I'm going to start with question for this video. So a question is very similar to the announcements on the stream page, but they can be graded and you have a few more options. So for the question I'm going to show you, I'm going to ask, how do you think you would use questions? I'm going to bold my keyword on your Google Classroom. You have the option here to make it multiple choice and provide different options for students, or you can make it short answer, and that's how I'm going to use it here. Underneath questions, you have instructions. I'm going to include, please review the attached list before posting your response. And since it's through Google, you can use the spell check feature, which is great. And I'm going to attach a list from my Google Drive again. I have a list of different ways to use questions in your Google Classroom, and I'll show you that in a moment. But over here on the right-hand side, again, you have the option to decide which students you want this available to. If you want to differentiate material for a small group of students versus the whole class, that's a great option here. But I'm going to leave it as all students. For points, if you've set up your gradebook already, which will be in another video, you can choose how you want it to be graded. I will leave this one as ungraded for now. You can choose a due date, and you would just schedule it using your little calendar, and the students would be able to see when it's due, and on the stream page, they would get reminders on that little left-hand box. I'm going to leave it without a due date. And then topic, if you have topics set on your page, you would be able to post, is this ELA, is this math, is this fractions, or is this order of operations? Topics are whatever you set up. And again, I'll do that in another video. Now, these two options are really interesting. Students can reply to each other. This makes it, again, kind of like a Facebook page where students would be able to see responses that other students post and comment on them. If you check this option off, students will not be able to see any replies from other students. So this makes things like exit tickets or assessments really helpful here, because you don't always want them to see other students' work. But if you're brainstorming or sharing ideas, keeping this box checked allows them to see what other students are commenting. And then if students can edit their answer or not, I tend to leave this unchecked so that they're not going back later to change what they wrote. And when I'm grading or assessing what's written, I know that that's what's going to stay there. If you're submitting something like a draft, maybe you do want them to be able to edit their answers. That's up to you. And then up here, you can schedule a time to post it. You can post it right away, or you can save it as a draft. So I'm just going to post it right away. And it'll take a second, but it prompts me to add a topic. I'll show that in another video, but it shows you posted at this time. You have the option to edit or delete it also, but just to click on it, it shows view question. How do you think you would use questions in your Google Classrooms? And when the students turn it in, you'd be able to see all their answers here. I'm going to go back and show you this little post. If you want to pause the video to look through these, absolutely. These are just a list of some of the ways I think you could use questions in a Google Classroom. So things like exit tickets, assessing prior knowledge, almost like you're getting that K on a KWL chart. You can ask polls. That's a great use of the multiple choice. You can ask maybe, would you rather have the next assignment be submitted through Google Docs, or do you want to use something like Flipgrid? You can let students ask you a question. You can check for understanding. You can have students share resources, maybe comment with what links they're using. If you want to submit topic proposals, this is a great use to do it. So I'm going to leave this up here for when the video ends. You can take a look. What are some other ways you think you could use this in your classroom? I'd love to hear what other people are doing.